Okay.
And also, just to clarify, we know our mics have been hot this whole time. We're just trying to get in the habit of doing it for the actual stream. You're right. They can't hear our broadcaster.
Wait,
And now
what
my
are you talking
broadcaster's
about,
teasing
Owen?
me because I forgot.
Wait, who do you hear? What? I don't hear anything.
All right, I get it.
Man, you must be
like crazy by the broadcaster right now. Okay. Anyways, let's start talking about the game. So, what were the team names again? They were Team Happy Birthday MUN and Team SD Unavailable. And we have SD Unavailable's POV for this particular match. Of course, we know that SD is on this team. We can almost guarantee that we'll run some sort of Stinger-centric strat. And lo and behold, if you take a look in the upgrades menu, you can see we've already got top and middle tree level 1 for the Stingers, so he's going straight for his build. Looks like we're actually going to have a really, really standard setup. Wretch, Tallboy, Stinger. Actually, we haven't seen this in a while. Of course, one thing that is slightly different is we know SD will not ever switch off to the Hawker, which is what you might expect from a more standard team comp. So, we have an interesting combination of players on the other team in particular. We have 2 leaders, I think, and then we also have 2 people that are not talking quite as much. So I'm curious to see how together they actually look, either because nobody is talking, this is on the other team, Team Happy Birthday MUN, or because too many people are talking.
SD Unavailable is starting out pretty hard with a flash immediately under Tallboy. They are able to get another nade out, flash and a nade for the first 15 seconds of the game.
That's pretty good for setting the tone of the entire round to come. If they got 2 pieces of util out in the very first fight, absolutely a good deal for the Ridden side. Meanwhile, SD sitting in the back, free farming. Look at this, already halfway to his next upgrade.
And the Tallboy engaging, missing his hit, but he might be able to get the knock if he's able to play this safely. Pull behind with the red circle, keeping that magnetic. I think he might be able to get a second off this.
There's a chance.
The zone. He's not able to get the knock, but that is a lot of value if they're able to deny this.
Don't count them out too far. Jolinar's spawn is up. They could absolutely still follow up on this, and I believe SD's build is just about to kick in. A nade is going to finally put a stop to the push, allow the cleaners to actually stabilize. Happy Birthday MUN is back up, but a lot less worse, or a lot more worse for wear on the util side.
And the Tallboy re-engaging, walking directly into the volley and getting burned off the bat. That's a bit rough start to this engagement here.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, SD sitting outside, still just trying to farm. At a certain point, we will see him completely switch tactics. He's going to actually get up in their face, and he's going to try to bully them like that.
That's
actually catching a down right before the start of the next fight. This could be disastrous. A fast res comes through.
Engaging, that's a nade. Oh, that's a double nade there, but it's able to get 3 kills. Oh, that is a very resource heavy, but they might give him the way to keep him safe.
I mean, yeah, it looked bad for the Ridden there for a moment, but to be honest with you, at the 2-minute mark, having no util is pretty damn scary, and I think that might be where Happy Birthday MUN is headed.
It looks like SD's strategy is now fully starting. You can see him jumping in, playing like a tall boy, keeping himself up in the air, hard to hit, as he becomes a nuisance. A huge nade picking up both tall boys, but it's not enough as he keeps the aggression, keeps the pressure. Might be able to get a second knock here as this fight develops.
Yeah, bad news for all you people who get double kills with the nades on tall boys. When you're in SD's lobby, it's not the tall boys you should be nading as he gets 2 additional downs. Now his team's up.
Playing completely off SD's, he's readying his nade, and SD's playing distance, playing it slow because he knows they got it in the bag, and that is the game. 4 kills for SD there.
Absolutely phenomenal play from SD. Sorry I talked over you again. Still got a few kinks to work out. But anyways, at a 2-minute 40-second time, that's actually pretty run-of-the-mill despite SD's fantastic play to actually clean it out at the very end there. So with that time on the board, it's really going to depend a lot on how the cleaner team plays this, on how lucky they get with their loot spawns, with the ring pull. Could really go either way. We don't have enough information to know for sure which team is going to end up taking this one home. Looks like for the team composition on the side of SD unavailable, we're going to have, again, 2 flex picks. That is going to be a Holly and an Evangelo. We are giving up a Carly. Seems to be the theme of the night. Nobody wants to play Carly tonight.
All right, listen up.
Now, this one concerns me quite a bit, actually. I really don't like this comp, and I'm going to tell you why. Usually, when you run a Survivalist Evangelo build, you give him a machete or a hatchet, and he occupies a bit of a horde clear role, just not totally built for it. He's not meant to frontline, he's meant to evade and buy time at the end of the game. To be honest with you, I feel like they're going to severely lack damage with this team composition. It's not like they replaced Carly, who would otherwise be playing damage anyways, with a Walker or a Jim. They replaced Carly, who would be playing damage, with who would effectively be playing a melee character for the first minute and a half of the game. I think that's a huge mistake. We'll have to see exactly how it turns out. But
it's going to be very interesting, especially with how aggressive we know some of the people on the team. Happy birthday, MUN, are going to be. Well, Exploder starts, getting a lot of value, pushing them away, putting them up as the 2 tall boys push in, put a double nade onto the tall boy, make this a clean wipe in the first 18 seconds.
That double nade didn't look as clean as it actually, or it didn't look quite as bad as it actually was, because a second nade was thrown that whiffed right beforehand, so it was still a 1-for-1 trade. That's 2 nades out in the first fight. Same mistake that MUN's birthday made. And
Tallboy taking a bit of a long range engage, and we see Holly pushing in, face to face with the Ridden. They try to take us out, and the Exploder knocking him into, as the whole Cleaner team is low. But it seems like the danger is kind of sneaking out here.
Now, the disruption here is great, but what they really need is they need more util out than they're getting, because you can see they still have frags and flashes left, and they need to get more healing out as well. They need to be doing more damage per attack. The Exploders are pushing them all over the place, but they're not really getting a lot of damage done, partially because they have no upgrades for them yet.
Oh, that tall boy. Oh, walking directly into the Exploder, getting that damage in, but it's not enough to actually secure any team fights here. Just getting those resources.
Well, I clearly spoke too soon. That was a massive 4-man Exploder play that pretty much single-handedly drained the last couple of meds they have. I believe they're stuck now with just 1 bandage on the ground and 2 pills in the Holly's inventory.
Ooh, Tallboy pushing up, getting pace first with that Evangelo. Stinger trying to get some angles here. Their build hasn't seemed to taken off. The down coming out onto their Evangelo, not able to run from that.
Now, I believe both tall boys are down, so I think they're going to get a full reset here. But this is looking pretty rough, honestly. I mean, if that happens one more time, I can't guarantee that'll happen. Smaller ring, Exploders love that.
Directly into the ring. Holly's going to be taking a lot of damage from these rather than the fire under them. The tall boys trying to engage as hard as they can, stuck in the swarm and stuck at range as they hide away at safety.
The displacement on the Holly completely stopping them from actually doing any horde clear. Can't build their Face Your Fears, can't build their Vanguard, can't proc their Numb. Now they're getting farmed from afar by Stinger, and there's nothing he can do about it because he's playing melee.
And gonna have to play their lives here, and they should be able to get this on the Cleaner side pretty securely. And maybe speaking too soon, Doc almost going down there, but they're able to get this on the Cleaner side for Team SD.
SD unavailable. Right, got a little lost in the sauce there in the end. Very chaotic, Exploders everywhere, and a lot of barrels, gas cans, mollies, everything going off at once. I am fairly certain, however, that both teams used 100% of their util that round, so it's a very clean slate going into round 2. Absolutely still anybody's game. There is no massive advantage here.
I personally was expecting the Ridden attack second part there to be a lot more aggressive. They were relying a lot on disruption, which is not exactly normal for some of the players there, especially Kangs and Keith. I've always seen them as like a very aggressive tall boy players, and seen they might have been trying some different strategy.
You know, to be honest with you, I think part of the problem is that they split their points really early on. Happy birthday, MUN, that is. I think that happened because they tried to make the exploder work right off the bat, even though there wasn't a barrel that they were taking. They weren't super clumped for it. They got a couple of nice exploder plays, but I really think it might have just been a lot more worth it to go Wretch. You farm more points, you get the slow, and you're getting a lot more value for the points you do spend, right? I think by trying to do exploder instead of Wretch for one of your supports, they just missed out on too much. Took too long to trim through all of the util that SD Unavailable actually had. But we'll see if they make the same mistake this round, or if maybe they clean it up. Maybe their exploder will get a lot more value.
I'll take it.
Oh my Harding has been getting a nade out almost instantaneously. If they get knocked by the Sting or the Hawker actually coming back, they're trying to split off the Holly early in these fights, it seems.
Absolutely. Now, sub 30 seconds. Again, we're seeing multiple forms of utility already being used. I also want to point out we are, in fact, seeing that sort of composition switch I was talking about. We swapped that exploder onto the Hawker. I think we'll see a lot more value with that, especially with this team running 2 melee characters.
Ooh, really early pick onto that Stinger, but the Hawker knocking him off into the pit below, right into their tall boy, who's going to get flashed and naded immediately. That's a lot of util you don't want to be forced to use.
Absolutely.
Hawker's jumping around the map. They're just trying to be a nuisance as their tall boys engage things.
More likely what it is he's just trying to stay mobile, be where he is, be where he wants to be when the fight actually breaks out. He's probably talking with his tall boys about where that's going to be so that he can make sure to hawk the most dangerous cleaner. Just like that.
And right off the high ground, too, directly into seems to be a tall boy's nest. And they are going to use a lot of util. Another nade coming through here.
Absolutely. But for all that damage, with one Hawk, basically, you get all that damage and a flash out and a down.
And that is a down on the Doc and on the Mom. Or no, was that a Hawk?
I believe the Hawker got the down.
Okay.
That's going to be Mom rescues.
Another Hawk coming in here as the Mom re-knock. Their Mom is currently hawked on the high ground as well. This is going to be very difficult as they do get the res onto the Mom, who instantly dies from the anti-heal. They need to have some sort of defib. They do not have one. That is a permanent death. Exploder trying to engage here as they walk inside, but the tall boys are going to keep them out, keep them split, and it is a lot of damage coming in on this Holly, who's escaping through the outside of the map.
Yeah, run for your money. This is not what you would have expected. You would have thought the Evangelo would be the last to die, but that is not the case. That has got to be disheartening as well. The Holly dies, and the last thing she sees is an unused defib right in the center of the map. Really, really sucks. Definitely could have been an opportunity to use that had they spotted it, but that's not the focus here. I think the main thing that changed, notice that 20-second difference from round 1, is the shift to a Hawker. I think that gave them a massive amount of value. You have one person hawked every fight. You're taking 3 people's worth of damage on your 2 tall boys, and your 2 tall boys are the only 2 people that are doing most of your damage on the ridden side anyways. Then, of course, over on the side, you've also got another Stinger that's playing support, and I think that was helpful too, but I think the main value came from the Stinger making openings for the tall boys that fight.
They are, so we can see just from our POV as spec here, a lot of points. They are fully trying to upgrade their tall boys. They have achieved peak on this Stinger, and I am very excited to see how this combo with What a Dick and our good old friend SD for the namesake is going to perform here today.
Indeed, for the win, it looks like they are going to drop a tall boy and replace it with a Stinger. We did talk about this earlier, but once you have this build up and running, if you know how to play it, you can basically take the role of a tall boy while you're playing Stinger. Yes, you really are that hard to kill if you do it right. And for those of you who don't know exactly how to execute the strategy, what you do is you get all of the defensive abilities that you can for your Stinger, including ramping damage because it stacks with your lifesteal. And then what you do is you get right up in the most dangerous person's face, and you jump all over and manipulate your hitbox and spin around and occasionally weave in a leap to trigger your leap defense. And that one person alone is basically incapable of actually killing you. He needs help from his team. You have 2 Stingers doing that at once. It's very difficult to take care of. And just like with a tall boy, you might find yourself needing to use a nade. Only 2 minutes and 24 seconds on the clock to make it happen. It's a bit risky, I think, to fully commit to the double stinger, but we absolutely know that these players are capable of it. They're very good at stinger. They're very good at ranged attacks. They absolutely know how to do that hitbox manipulation I was just talking about.
And immediately getting right in the action, you're going to see these Stingers trying to separate themselves, taking these 1v1s versus players, just trying to keep themselves at the disadvantage. Red Barrel coming out, but not able to take out the Stinger from SD, just keeping his pressure as they keep walking around, being a nuisance as they are.
Watch SD putting out all boy levels of damage right in someone's face, and there you go. It takes a nade to put him down, which does happen, but I mean, hey, that's a nade for a stinger.
And Tallboy getting another nade onto the high ground there as they're trying to push him off. This is a lot of util that Team Happy Birthday MUN is putting out for this early in the game.
Absolutely. Might even find here. Gets the propane baited out.
Without killing, and then another nade! Oh my. This is going to be a very heavy engagement this next fight, especially using another flashbang. If they're able to have a full fight, this is going to be very interesting. And the Tallboy pushing him in, playing these pipe bombs from the cleaner side, and trying to use them with whatever utility they have left.
Notice how they just now got burst bonus, by the way. SD unavailable, hasn't had burst bonus on their Tallboys this whole time. They really are all in on their stingers doing that job. You can still see SD doing a fantastic job. He's in the middle of everyone.
And they're not coming out onto them. And they're going to get their Evangelist. Oh. 2 knocks coming in here. Molly going to burn them, but the life steal is enough to keep them alive. Their docs trying to heal through it with their fills, but it's not enough. And we're going to see SD trying to get another knock here. As they keep the kill frenzy going, and that is tame.
A clean final fight from SD unavailable. Perfect execution of their win condition. Get their stinger in uncontested. Everyone's looking at the Tallboys, but the cleaners don't realize the Tallboys aren't where the damage is coming from. The Tallboys aren't the ones getting the kills. No. It's that stacked SD guy. That guy is up in the kill feed, just lighting it up, sharing it occasionally with a common. Fantastically well played.
SD unavailable. That is showing how dominant this strategy can be.